What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Hopefully you had a good weekend overall. I had some fun. I actually played more Call of Duty than I thought I would. We also had our live spawn cast, which was probably our biggest one ever. So we had a lot of fun over the weekend. But, of course, we have a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of news that kind of broke over the weekend, so let's get started. First up today, we have Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2 on the Nintendo Switch. Some more information came out. This was found by Nintendo Everything over the weekend, and what they did was they translated an article that had more information about the Switch version from an outlet called Inside Games. And in this article, there was some interesting information. Things like Resident Evil 1 and 2 are confirmed to be based off of the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One versions. Joy-Con support with motion control and HD rumble. We kind of already saw the motion control when we watched the Capcom their live stream about it that one night. And then all DLC is already included from the start. So all DLC is available. That might be what needs to be downloaded maybe. It's hard to say from there. Revelations, the first one is 1080p resolution. The second one is also 1080p, but there is differences with frame rate. Frame rate on Revelations 1 is 60 frames per second, whereas the second one, we don't know what the frame rate is, but at this point it appears to be less than 60 frames. It could be an uncapped frame rate. Maybe they cap it at 30 frames per second. Resolution appears to be 1080 on either one. I assume 720p is what the handheld resolution is going to be because that's what it always is mostly. And then it might be dynamic where it might kind of fall below that depending on what's happening on the screen. But so far, so good with Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2. With the only real issue that I can see being that if you buy it physically, the second one is just a code that comes with the cartridge for the first one. Of course, if you get it digitally, you just download everything to your SD card. Now, of course, the game is out at the end of November. November seems to be a very packed month for Switch games, but I do think it's going to be interesting to see Resident Evil again on a Nintendo system, and of course, it's going to get the treatment of comparisons for the Xbox One and the PS4 version. I do like that the first one's running at 60 frames. It should, though. It's technically a 3DS game when you go down to the core of it. It is what it originally came from, so I'd expect 60 on that one. The second one makes sense to not be 60 because it is harder to run. If you have a computer or PC when it first came out, it actually beat up a lot of PCs also. But this is going to be interesting to see, and I look forward to playing Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2 on the Switch because I will be getting it to check it out. Next up, Xbox One X reviews started to go all over the internet. We started seeing all kinds of opinions on it, saw a lot of very interesting comparisons. There was one that I really liked on YouTube that showed the difference between Halo 5, and they actually uploaded it in 4K and showed the difference between the two because it was noticeable. It became much sharper, much more clear when you moved over to the X. Text or resolution, textures, textures especially looked really good when you moved over. But that seemed to be kind of where a lot of reviews fell apart. After that, they really seem to cite the fact that there is no real compelling software that's coming out for the X right now, or the Xbox system in general. Currently, we do have obviously Crackdown 3 coming out, but seeing Super Lucky's Tale kind of fall on its face a little bit with review scores and reviews in general, it seems like that is the big point that a lot of these reviewers of the Xbox One X made. The hardware is awesome. For the money, you are not going to get a better picture, whether it's you're putting money into a PC or any other hardware like the PS4 Pro. $500 gets you a very, very capable machine. The problem is there's not a lot to play on it outside of Forza, Gears, Halo, for example. Now, of course, Sea of Thieves is coming eventually. That looks pretty fun. And Crackdown 3 should be okay. But, I mean, places like PC Gamer went as far. I noticed this. I put it on Twitter. People thought it was very funny. They went as far as to recommend a Nintendo Switch at the end of the review, which was so weird. Like, seriously, a hard left turn into Nintendo Town, as I said on Twitter, where they recommend you buy a Switch because Mario Odyssey and Zelda are out for it. So, I don't know. It seems interesting. I feel like if you have an S and you don't have a 4K TV, there's probably no point in buying it. But if you have a 4K TV and you want that 4K visual, like I bought the PS4 Pro when it came out, so it makes sense that I would get the X, I can understand that as well. Next up, Nintendo continues to, I guess, bug us or troll us quietly with this Eternal Darkness trademark. If you missed it over the weekend, we got word that Nintendo is continuously so for a while now, they have kept this Eternal Darkness trademark alive under their umbrella. For a while now, they keep extending it, they keep filing to then be allowed to extend it later, and they have now done that. They have once again filed, in this case, something called a a request for extension of time to file a statement of use. So this extension lasts 6 months, and at the end of 6 months, they will have to decide if they want to re-up the trademark or let it go. They'll probably just re-up it. I like to assume that something's happening with Eternal Darkness, right? With Nintendo and this game, because they've said we want non-traditional IPs and we want more mature IPs. That seems to have that written all over it, and maybe it's been in development for a while, and that's the reason they've kept it. I don't know. Or it could just be something that they're keeping up with, like a just in case thing. Maybe, hey, maybe we do want someone like Retro Studios to take a shot at Eternal Darkness. Sure, that would be awesome. Otherwise, maybe they're looking at something like GameCube support down the line for the Virtual Console. Hard to say, but they won't let it go, so they must have some value in it. Next up, we had BlizzCon. BlizzCon happened over the weekend as well, and there were some interesting announcements, especially if you're a fan of things like World of Warcraft. We did get the new expansion announced. That's World of Warcraft Battle for Azeroth. So, of course, new zones and level caps we raised for this expansion. They also had StarCraft 2, at least the base model of it, go free to play, which is pretty cool to see that happen. So where you can kind of download it and play it, and then you can buy into expansions, things like that. The biggest announcement that really had people jumping, like seriously, they were so excited on stage for this to happen. Remember how there were all these vanilla servers for World of Warcraft? What I mean by that is it was pretty much the original World of Warcraft before they started adding expansions and patching and changing gameplay and level caps and all this stuff. People really liked vanilla World of Warcraft, was what it's called. Well, I guess Blizzard and they heard this, and they are now making something called World of Warcraft Classic, which is essentially an official vanilla server. Now, it's still in development, so it's not close to being ready, but at least the announcement has kind of set fans kind of their minds at ease, knowing that they don't have to play on a server that could just get shut down at any time, where they invest a lot of time and then, oh, it's shut down by Blizzard. No, this is going to be official. No real word or details around how it will work. I guess you have to start new characters, a separate account. It's still in heavy development right now. They just wanted to let us know that it's coming, and that's why maybe your favorite classic server or vanilla server was shut down. But be excited if you want that. It might even be worth checking back out, because I do remember World of Warcraft when it first came out, mostly because the hype was unreal for it, and there were so many people playing it at the time. Seriously, people that don't normally play MMOs were playing World of Warcraft, so I might check it out just for that cool nostalgia trip, but we'll see what info comes out after this, because they could always ruin it still. Next up, Sonic Forces. Now, this is getting interesting. We saw Famitsu's review, right, where it was 35 out of 40. Now, the thing here is, a lot of people weren't able to get the game early. Sega decided not to send this game out to reviewers or publishers or websites, no one, except there were some that got leaked out, and we've seen it all over the place. People are like, I got it early, I'm playing all the way through it, here are leaks and details and all this stuff. I assume Polygon, I guess, got an early copy somehow. Maybe they bought it from someone, because I did see people on Craigslist selling it in different areas for a little more than what the suggested retail price is. But Polygon appeared to get an early copy, play through it, and they gave it a 5 out of 10. So I don't really know where the review scores are going to lie on this one, but Famitsu, while people got really excited for that 35 out of 40, they're not the best when it comes to Sonic reviews. They gave Sonic 2006, for example, a 30 out of 40. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. I'm mildly concerned about where this goes, because Sonic fans desperately want a good 3D Sonic, and unfortunately, Sonic Forces may not end up being that. So I hope it's good. But right now, based on some other people I've talked to behind the scenes, it might not be good. So take a look around for some reviews today, because I have a feeling a couple are dropping. It might give us an idea of how this thing plays and what could be wrong with it. Next up, we had information come out that a Nintendo Direct is showing up for Xenoblade 2, and that's happening tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern. No real details have been given about this Direct, only that the main focus is going to be Xenoblade 2, meaning I don't think anything else is going to be shown there. Don't get excited for some crazy announcement or anything. It's kind of like how ARMS and Splatoon 2, where they did some information just about that game and that was it. That's all this is. This is just for really getting people excited, getting people into the game, interested, new details. That's the one thing I'm hoping for, is we see some interesting new details, some new little tidbit that we get that makes us really excited for it. Of course, Xenoblade is an awesome time if you're a JRPG fan, so I have a feeling it's already going to be good. I'm going to do my best to stream it, but I'm going to be up pretty late tonight with the Xbox One X. I'm going to go try to pick it up at midnight. Otherwise, I'll stream it and then go pick it up the next day. So I guess keep an eye out, because I will try to stream it, and we'll see what they have in store for us for Xenoblade 2. And in our last bit of news, Sony or at least their Sony Rewards program, gave people an actual reason to earn trophies. You know how I've talked about it before, like why would I get trophies or achievements? What do they give me? Something I would really like to see, at least before this, was a way to maybe trade in your experiences in games through trophies and achievements for actual, like, tangible things, whether it's digital games, for example. Maybe you get enough achievements that you can turn it in for credits, and then you buy a game with it. Well, it looks like Sony is going for just that. It's very interesting. The Sony Rewards program will let you turn in trophies for credits that you can use on the PlayStation Store. Now, here's the thing. It's not retroactive, so any trophies you've already earned will not just automatically give you a bunch of credits. It seems to be more for going forward. So if you want to do this, go sign up for it right now. Like, you can just sign up on their site, and then you could start turning in trophies. Now, there are a couple different things. There's different increments for each trophy. So basically, every 100 points nets you $1, essentially. So 100 points is $1. And what you do is 100 silver trophies gets you 100 points. 25 gold trophies nets you 250 points. 10 platinums give you 1,000 points. So $10 right there. And of course, it's as you go up, it's just worth more. Platinum trophies are much harder to get than silver trophies. So it at least makes sense because you're going to accumulate a lot of silver trophies and only a few platinum trophies. But I at least like the idea because it's giving you something back for working through all of these games, and it gives Sony a good way to get you to maybe go back and revisit some of your old library, and at that point, maybe you'll buy the DLC, or who knows. At that point, you're just spending more time on your PlayStation because platinum trophies are much harder to get. And really, at that point, you're on your PlayStation more, and Sony wins. It's worth a couple bucks to them to get you playing some of your old library. And that's it for Newswave today, guys. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me know think about any of the stuff we talked about today. I'm very curious what your thoughts are on this World of Warcraft vanilla server that they're going to do, a World of Warcraft Classic. If you're a little older, maybe you remember when World of Warcraft first came out. Maybe you're one of those people who went to the different GameStops and bought the cards so you could have, like 60 days of game time because you were addicted to the game to the point where you had to scrounge up money to go get game time. Trust me, I know. Also, let me know what you think about the Xbox One X and the reviews. Does it make sense to you to even get one, or are you seeing it more like something that you would buy down the road when you have a 4K TV and maybe some exclusives pop up, say, at next year's E3 and Microsoft is done showing around the system and their focus goes to games? That's what I'm hoping. Maybe they get a studio on board and they really start working on some cool stuff to show off with 4K visuals, not really rely as much on the third party. Guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow morning for Newswave, maybe tomorrow morning for the Xenoblade 2 stream. It should be fun.